So this is a series of exercises that shall henceforth affectionately be known as the KB series. So this will happen in the mornings, and this is for people with lower back instability. So lumbar region, sort of L5, S1-ish lumbar instability. So here we go. The first one is a supine knees to chest. This is after a bit of a general Tai Chi thump and Tai Chi thump and a general joint limber. So here we go. Supine knees to chest, which we're going to hold for about 10 seconds. Okay. Okay, lying supine, so lying on your back, so supine. Taking a moment, breathing in through the nose, ideally yours isn't as squeaky as mine, and breathing out through the mouth. And repeat. Breathing and relaxing. Once you're in a relaxed state, which is really important, by the way, once you're in a relaxed state, only when you've achieved as relaxed a state as you feel you can, then I want you to carefully and safely float your knees one at a time into the air. So we're going to bring one knee up like so, and then floating the other knee like so. That's it. And then we're just going to apply a bit of security, anchor them there with your hands. If you can't reach your knees, you can hold around the back of your legs, back of your thighs. But if you can reach the knees, then please do. Now, thing to watch out for, okay, is you'll notice that my lower back didn't move. My lower back still has a gap underneath it for my fingers. That's important. We want to be able to float the knees up only as far as they can go without distorting the alignment of the lower back. So that means the pelvis mustn't rock like so. You'll notice if I go any further in, there's no more gap here. So in order for me to have a gap, my knees have to be here at best. If I can squeeze the hip flexors, I can bring them in a bit further. That's great. That's the challenge. But without distorting all of this. So that's about 10 seconds. I'm going to place one foot down, other foot down, and then relax and reset. Relax, relax. Okay, so that's the challenge. That's what we're going to do. So here we go. Now, what I'd like you to do is to do it with me this time. So breathe, relax. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth in your own time. And when you're ready, we're going to suck the belly button in towards the spine a bit, just about 25% tops. Same with the sides, same with the lower back, maintaining the structure, the structural integrity of this region. Yeah, so that this doesn't change. And the pelvis, especially the back of the pelvis, which has the floor as a point of reference, doesn't change, so it doesn't rock either way. Okay, no anterior tilt, no posterior tilt. Yeah, so it's this gap between the lower back and the floor stays constant. We're going to brace this area so we can keep it constant. We're going to exert control over the area. I'll move this arm to the side so you can see. As we lift one knee up, just as high as you feel you can get it without distorting this region, and then bracing, floating the other one up. Good. And holding it there. If you can, do it without holding on and anchoring and just use the muscles to hold you there, great. If you're not there yet, then please brace. Yeah, and then use what muscle control you can with the help of the crutch of using your arms. If you don't need it, that's great. 10 seconds-ish, and then coming down. I'm going to alternate which leg I put down first, just for the sake of balance. That's good. So what we're doing here is we're already encouraging a stabilisation here through the torso and encouraging the active stabilization of this area by the recruitment of all of this musculature around this area, whilst also enlivening, waking up, sort of innervating the hip flexor muscles and any of the other muscles that you use as you bring your knee or bring your hip into a greater degree of flexion. So we're challenging your ability to do that whilst also stabilizing that. So yeah, so that's the first exercise. Okay. Once you're done, I should mention this. Once you're done, take a moment to relax and reset. Okay, it's really important that you feel comfortable and safe, so that everything can work properly, and you're not in some sort of heightened, sort of panicked, fight or flighty sort of place. I can hear my dog in the background. I'm so sorry. Okay. So coming into a semi-supine position, so lying on your backs with your knees up. We're now going to do a continuation of the knees to chest that we were doing before with both knees. And this time, instead of holding a position, we're going to move in and out of a position, which is going to be harder because it's a more dynamic movement. But because of that, we're going to, because this is all about control, we're going to moderate that by only doing one leg at a time. So less to think about, less workload, so you can focus more on precision and minute, like fine-tuned detail. So from here, once again, we're going to suck the belly button in towards the spine. I'll move this arm to the side so you can see what's happening. Suck the belly button in towards the spine, about 25% tops of what you can do, 25% or less. So a quarter of what you can do or less. And that goes to the same for the sides, so sucking, squeezing, engaging the sides, squeezing them, and ensuring that the back is engaged too. So there is still this gap between your lower back and the floor. And then from here, I'll keep this arm out here so you can see what's happening here, but normally I'd have the arm down here like so. So from here, we're just going to take one leg and without anything changing, even in the smallest, to the smallest degree, just no change. Gonna squeeze, embrace, and then bring the leg up to where you can. Stopping before the height of the knee distorts the alignment of the pelvis. Yeah, so don't let that happen. Okay, so just here. You want to squeeze right to the edge, squeeze the knee as high as you feel you can get it without that distorting. Still bracing here, 25%-ish, and then placing the knee, the foot back down. And breathe and relax. Breathing in through the nose. And out through the mouth. And when you're ready, we'll do the other side. Bracing here, 25% or less, and then floating the knee up as high as it can go without distorting the pelvis, and then squeeze a little bit further just to challenge yourself. Little squeeze, just a little challenge to see if that really is all you've got. But refuse to let yourself distort. And then coming back down. And breathe and relax. Make sure that you are breathing throughout, ideally, but sometimes we hold our breath. That's okay. But if you notice you're holding your breath, start breathing again. Okay. And then we're going to repeat, which you're going to try and improve, or match or beat, I guess is the best way of putting it. Match or beat what you did previously. So bracing, squeezing, just seeing what we've got. And placing it down smooth and controlled. And then same on the other side. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And placing it down smooth and controlled. Okay, single leg, knees up. Okay, taking a deep breath in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. Relax your weight into the floor, drop your weight into the floor. Now, this is a twisting knee drop. Now, people often, there are various ways of doing this, and I need you to do this in a very specific way in order to keep it safe and also to keep it useful. So traditionally, this is an exercise that will involve you having your arms out to the side, both arms out to the side for ballast or to anchor yourself. And then you would have your knees, your feet together, knees together, and you will rock onto the outside of one foot and twist all the way down. That's the thing that I don't want you to do. As a mobilization exercise for people who don't have lower back issues, great, because it gets things moving. In your instance, if we move it to, if we get things moving, rotating, getting rotational forces, shall we say, in your lower back, working to that extent, to that range of motion, is just going to aggravate that area of the body. And right now we're trying to stabilize and calm down that area of the body. So that's exactly what we don't want to do. How we do, however, need to build functional control, therefore strength, in that region, in this rotational plane of motion. So how do we do that? It's actually quite simple. We just reduce the active range of motion. So what are we doing here? We're going to tilt the knees just as far as we can go without it feeling bad, without it being strenuous. And then control the way back, sucking in to pull you back. That's good. And then try and match that on the other side, but without going into pain or general discomfort. So rocking on the outside edge of the other foot, keeping the feet and knees together. So you've got the floor as a point of reference. That's as far as I can safely go without it becoming a stretch, which, if my back was feeling bad, would feel like an uncomfortable stretch, maybe even a painful stretch. And that's what we don't want. We want to flirt with the edge of it, but never go into it. And then over time, that boundary will become further and further and further. So it will afford us an improvement that gives us increased access to full range of motion. But we've got to build it. We've got to build it there, and your body has to trust it and know, not guess, but know that you can do it. So we build that trust through evidence by doing it. So here we go. Rocking over to just as far as you feel you can. Be really honest with yourself, because if you cheat, you only cheat yourself. And then coming back. Smooth and controlled. If it's jittery, then don't extend the range of motion. Stick with what you're doing and try and control it better each time. Smooth it out. Nice and smooth transition to that point. Making sure you don't overshoot that mark. And then control the way back. Smooth and controlled. Ooh, little jitter there from me. Okay, good. I'm just going to change the angle so you can see this from another angle, just so it's useful. Arms out to the side and rocking like so on the outside edge of the foot. I'm only going to go to there. I can go further, but I'm not going to. And then coming back in, smooth and controlled. Take a moment. And then rocking around to the other side. Rocking on the outside edge of the foot, rolling through the back of the pelvis, only as far as you feel you can go safely. And then squeezing the abs in, pulling the hip back to get you back in. Once you feel that you have achieved all of the active range of motion that you're going to have for the day, and it's not improving each time you do it, that's enough. Stop there. Okay. And then that's your baseline to match or beat in subsequent days. Okay. When you're done, don't forget to take a moment just to breathe, he says, falling off the mat. Taking a moment, take a deep breath in and breathe out. Try and relax. Let the tension go. Any tension you built up whilst you were working, just let it go. Okay, so we're going to go for a hip bridge. This is a hinged hip bridge, not a rolled hip bridge. So we're not rolling through the spine, we're hinging up and hinging down. So it's instead of having a maneuverable piece of kit here with the spine that can bend into varying increments and curve up and then undulate, we're going to imagine that your entire torso is encased in plaster. You've got a full body plaster cast, so the whole thing just has to hinge up in one piece and hinge back down again. So effectively you've got one bone now rather than lots of different bones. So you've got one bone through the torso and one bone through your thigh, your femur, and so they hinge up and down like so, as opposed to rolling up and then rolling back down. Yep, so I hope that makes sense. If you've never done these before, this will feel weird if you're used to rolling through, and it will take some practice to not roll through. But not rolling through feeds into your practice of stabilising this area and maintaining structural integrity here in the face of other external forces pulling you around and pushing you around in various directions. So, which is important in real life because that's what's going to happen. And so we need to stabilize this area to give it a fighting chance of staying uncompromised and therefore unaggravated throughout the day. Okay, so here we go. So I'm in a semi-supine position here. I'm lying on my back. I've got my knees up, feet down. As a general gauge, I like to use the instep, the medial longitudinal arch of your foot, this inside arch of your foot, of which mine aren't very big because I'm quite flat-footed, and put that up against the fleshy bit of your calf, your gastrocnemius, this fleshier upper bit of your calf. So put it against there as a measure. So if you lie your leg flat, put it up against it, place that on the floor, and bring the other foot in to match. And then if you have just create a bit of space between your feet. So there's a bit of a gap between my feet now. That's the ideal placement. And you can play with that. You can make it a little bit higher, a little bit lower, depending on what you want and where you're feeling it in the backs of your legs. General rule of thumb, the further away your feet are, the heavier the work for the hamstrings, the back of the thighs. The closer it is, the more of a glute focus it is. So this will work less hard and your bum will work harder. So depending on where you want to place the strain, then do that. Word to the wise, if your feet are too close, like really, really, really close, when you come up, it's going to be a thigh thing rather than, and then your bum won't be working as hard as your thighs either because of the acute angle you're making of your knees. So you want to find that sort of sweet spot if you're trying to target your bum. For me, starting point, I would try this measurement that I've given you. Try that first and then fine tune that as you go. Okay, if in doubt, try that. Here we go. So in order to stop ourselves from rolling through and peeling the spine off the floor vertebra by vertebra like that, so that's a rolled through sort of hip bridge, and then you would traditionally reverse it by rolling back down onto the floor, bone by bone, so vertebra by vertebra, eventually righting the pelvis to create or to refine that gap between your lower back and the floor. Because when the pelvis tucks under, that closes, and now there's no gap anymore. And then that starts your rolling up through the vertebra. This is the alternative. We're not going to do that. So knowing that that's how it happens, we're going to take that knowledge and use it so that we know what to avoid, okay, to what to look out for. So this time, I'll move this arm to the side so you can see the torso. So you're going to suck the belly button in towards the spine, about 25%-ish, about a quarter of what you can do at maximum, sucking in the sides like so, and engaging the back, the lower back as well. So all the way round, you're bracing the spine so that we can keep it, hold it in that alignment and allow it and encourage it to not change. So I'll keep this arm to the side. Maintaining that alignment, we're just going to start to engage all of the muscles of the lower leg or the lower body in order to lift just off the floor and then coming back down like so and relax. I am cramping. Somebody hasn't done these for a while. Okay. Okay, so taking this measurement instep on the inside of the calf, taking this measurement instep on the inside of the calf, like next to the gastrocnemius. I'm going to place the other foot here, create a bit of space. Now for me, I like to come a little bit closer, just a fraction closer, which allows me to do a little less hamstring work, a little bit more glute work. Okay, keeping this arm out to the side, here we go. So sucking the belly button in towards the spine, 25% maximum, about a quarter of what you can do at best. Squeezing in through the sides, engaging the sides and engaging the lower back as well, keeping this gap between the lower back and the floor. We're bracing this area, consolidating it, making sure that it doesn't change. And now we're going to engage the muscles of the lower body and lift just off the floor. So hinging just off the floor like so, holding it there, and then placing the back of the pelvis, the sacral region, back down on the floor. Lower back shouldn't touch the floor because there should still be a gap if you've managed to maintain that alignment. Let's try that again. Deep breath in. Bracing, breathing out. And a little lift. That's good. Holding it there. Letting the muscles of your lower body do the work. And then keep breathing in your own time. And then coming back down to relax. Okay, so we're going to do that one more time, but this time we're going to go as high as you feel that you can without feeling any discomfort, stretch or pain in through the lower back. Okay, here we go. Deep breath in. And here we go. Breathing out, bracing first, lifting up to where you can. If you need to keep breathing, keep breathing. You don't have to do this all in one breath. Just as high as you feel you can safely without compromising this lower back. The danger is that if you push too high, alignment starts to change and you'll feel it. So go sub-maximal to start with. There's time to progress it. Don't worry, we don't have to do it all in one day. And coming down. So the back of the pelvis touches the floor first, and you still have that gap between your lower back and the floor. Okay, there we go, a hinged hip bridge. Okay, so this is a prone quad stretch. So this means we're going to be prone, lying on our fronts, and we're going to be stretching our quadriceps, our thighs. You'll have seen this before. However, my little tip for you is to roll out or to fold up a towel or a blanket and put that underneath your tummy, ideally just from the front of your hips, from the crease of your hips here, this crease here where you hinge, to about here, just to the bottom of your ribs. Excuse me, he says belching. Wonderful. It's live. So we're going to lie down like so. So crease of the hip to the tummy, like so. Going to place one hand on the floor, Going to place your forehead on the back of the hand so that there is still space. I'm just going to move this microphone away from my chin a little bit. So there's still space for you to breathe, like so, even when you're wearing specs like I am. And then from here, we're going to bring one foot in. If you can't reach it, feel free to use a strap around the ankle or something, a towel or another towel to pull it up. But if you can reach the ankle, that's great. And we're just going to pull this in like so. You can do it with your breath, or you can just breathe normally and just focus on pulling it in. And what the towel does is that it stops your lower back from crunching. Because what often happens is that when you pull this in without the towel, your back can start to crunch. The angle becomes more acute here. The lordotic angle, the inward curve of the lower back, the spine, the bones of the lower back tends to become more acute. It becomes it crunches at the back, puts the muscles in a shortened position, and then that compromises your ability to stabilise through here, as always. So if you want to completely safeguard it, to be consistent with everything else that we've been doing, engage all of the stabilizers in through the torso, especially the lower torso, before you pull the foot in. So here we go. Let's see if we can do that. A lot of people can't reach their foot by the time they've stabilized, so you may want to do it this way. Grab the foot first and relax. So relax, so we're not pulling it into a stretch yet. If you can't do that, that's when you need some sort of strap or towel to hold it. So wrap it around the ankle and just hold that instead. So you're going to go here, relax, and then brace, sucking the belly button in towards the spine again, engaging the muscles in the sides and the back as well. And you're going to hold that there, stabilize the spine, absolutely stabilize it as you just use the arm. You notice it's my elbow that's bending. I'm using the strength of my arm to pull the foot in towards my bum. And this way, we have a stretch for the front of the thighs, the quadriceps, without it impacting into the lower back. Breathing, relaxing, and coming out. Good. Repeat if you want to. So if you want to, brace the abs, bracing the lower torso, using that towel as an extra control device, pulling in, breathing and relaxing, and then relaxing off, and then relax. And then we'll do the other side. Here we go. So, holding the foot, bracing the abs, about 25% of what you can do, that's usually enough. Usually. If you need more, you need more. But starting ballpark figure, 25%, and then using the strength of the arm only to pull the foot in. So you're not compromising your back by hoiking it up by shrugging your shoulders or anything like that. No, we're just using the arm itself, bending at the elbow, pulling the leg in, still stabilizing through the torso, and relax. For those of you that want to go again, take a moment. Really relax first. And when you're ready, bracing through the abs, bracing the front, the sides, and the back, and then using the arm to pull the leg in without the torso being compromised. And relax. There we go. A prone quad stretch. Okay, moving on. We're going on to a cat reverse cat, a cat stretch and a reverse cat, or a cat cow, depending on where you went to school. So it starts on all fours, so hands and knees. Quadruped, if you're American. We're just going to establish a neutralish sort of space, a middleish sort of space with our back, and then we're going to engage the abs by sucking the belly button in towards the spine. Again, 25% or so will do. Sucking in this or engaging the sides and the lower back as well. So you've got engagement through all the way around this region of the body. Now from here, we go into the cat stretch, but how we do this is quite important because we want to target the upper back, not the lower back. So it's important you have your weight slightly forwards. I'll show you why. In a traditional cat stretch, I'll try and make sure that I'm not chinning the microphone. Here we go. So I'll do with my head slightly turned to the side for the sake of the mic. In a traditional cat stretch, you'll just push the middle of the back up to the ceiling. But you'll notice that my lower back is rounded now, which is not what we wanted. And also, if you'll notice that if I shift my weight back, my lower back rounds more, and there's a lower back emphasis to the stretch. Whereas if I shift my weight forwards, I can curve my upper back more, my lower back flattens out a little bit. So there's an upper back focus. That's the one we want. So you notice my shoulders move directly over my hands, like so. Maybe even slightly beyond, depending on the flexibility of your wrists. But we'll start in the middle, neutral-ish shoulder place, establishing the alignment of the spine that we want to hold, a useful position. Ideally, it should be quite as close as you can get it to how your spine is, or this part of the spine is, when you're upright. You're just like this. You're just there. Okay. And then we're going to engage all the way around, as we talked about before, 25%-ish, 25%, a quarter or less, so that we're not really super stiff, but we're engaged, and there's support to be had, sustainable support. And then from here, we're just going to shift our weight forwards onto the hands a bit more, so you notice my shoulders are more directly over my hands now, and then push the middle part of the back, that part of your back towards the lower ribs at the back of your body up. I'm allowing my head to come down so that my neck is a continuation of that curve, but I'm still engaging my abs to support my lower back so that largely remains unchanged. And then coming back into middle, keeping the weight forwards, I'm going to drop down in between the shoulders. So the arms stay straight, and I'm allowing myself to sink forwards like so. Again, trying to keep my lower back uncompromised by still bracing the lower back. And then coming through middle, neutral, and then going again, pushing the middle of the back up towards the ceiling, still bracing the lower back to keep that uncompromised. And then coming through middle to reverse cat, dropping down between them, between the arms, as low as you can, still engaging the abs to make sure we don't crunch the lower back. And then coming back to middle. That's it. Cat, reverse cat. Trying to go a bit further each time without compromising your lower back. Don't forget to breathe. Don't forget to relax in between. Relax everything that you can. So from this position of being on all fours, hands and knees, quadruped, if you will, we're going to do a frog stretch or a frogger stretch. And this involves opening the knees wide in order to open the hips out to the sides, so that you can increase your middle split, your box split, as it were, just to loosen off the musculature involved, but also to create a sense of openness in and around the pelvis. But we need to do this, once again, without compromising this region of your torso. Yeah. So we need to brace that too. Now, common mistakes that happen here is weight placement. I shall show you. Don't copy this. I'll show you. Generally, you'll take your knees to as wide as you feel you can, adjusting your feet accordingly to allow for that. And then people will sit back like so into the stretch. Look what's happened to my lower back. It's rounded. Yeah, it's now stretched out the back part of my lower back. So the posterior section of it, face of it. We don't want to let that happen. So in order to prevent that, we're going to engage with something I like to call your pointy bum. And your pointy bum is this. You're going to shift your weight back by all means, but you're going to shift your weight back, keeping your bum pointy. So you're trying to make, I'll show this somewhere with a bit more contrast. You're trying to make your bum pointy. Pointy, pointy, pointy. I'm overdoing it now. It's now I've arched too far the other way. But fundamentally, if you brace here and then you make your bum pointy, it's like you're trying to make a sharp point here. It allows you to actively crease the hip more, which allows you then to round the back less. Yeah, as opposed to shifting the weight back like this. Pointy bum, rounded lower back. Yeah, so we want the pointy bum version, which is harder work for this area. So you may need to brace harder than 25%. So be it, okay? Keep it uncompromised. 25% is a ballpark figure. Okay, so we're going to do this. So we're going to take the knees wide, adjusting the feet to give us the widest possible position with the knees. And then from here, pointy bum, sitting the bum back, shifting the weight back so you feel the stretch on the inner thighs, you feel the front of the hips, over the insides of the hips opening, but we're going pointy bum so your lower back is uncompromised. Only go as far back as you feel you can without anything being compromised. If you're going to bring your elbows to the floor, watch out, you have to go even pointier, because if I do it without making my bum pointier, look what happens. If I come down, my lower back is rounded once again, and we need to be here. That's tough on the hips. So before you shift your weight back, if you know you want to be on your elbows, come down to the elbows first, so your spine is uncompromised, and then finish by shifting the weight back and staying pointy bummed. Pointy bummed. That sounds like some sort of slur. I'm so sorry. And then shifting the weight forwards again to come back. Okay, I shall show you from here, my favourite angle, wonderful. So, getting the knees nice and wide, opening the feet, adjusting the feet so you get a nice angle like so. You notice my back is uncompromised at the moment. So, whether you're staying up or you're coming down on your elbows, I'll do both in a second. You're shifting your weight back, pointy bum, so that your lower back remains uncompromised. The lower torso remains uncompromised. And then coming out like so. If you were starting down on your forearms, establishing the area, bracing the area, and then shifting the weight back, pointy bum, pointy bum. And then coming back like so. Okay. What a wonderful view, John. Single leg froggers. Okay, earlier we did a frog or frogger stretch to open out the hips. We're going to do a single leg version now, which is actually more intense, potentially, because you can get into specific angles and apply leverage in the way that you can't with the shortened levers of being on your knees, because this time you're going to be on one foot. I'll show you from the side and then I'll show you from the front. So, hands and knees once again, all fours, quadruped. If you're American, bringing one leg out to the side. Now, caveat, even before you take the leg out to the side, brace this area. Why? Because we're dealing with a longer lever, it's harder to control. This is easier to control than this. Yeah, so we have to brace before we do the longer of the two, which is exactly what we're doing. So bracing through the torso, making sure that this area remains uncompromised and it doesn't change. Brace it, hold it still. As we gently slide the leg out to the side. It doesn't have to be directly to the side, because look at what that's done to my pelvis. It's now shifted my hip alignment. Going to bring it back down so that this isn't happening anymore. Yep, so from here, ideally what you want is to brace through the torso, bring the leg out and then slide it out just to where you feel you can. Let it settle. So the inside of your foot flat on the floor, let it settle. Okay. If you feel you can adjust it, that's too far for me, like so, just let it settle. Okay, good. And then from here, we're going to do the pointy bum thing once again. So pointy bum, in case you don't know, a pointy bum involves sitting your bum back and trying to create a point here. So you're actively increasing the angle of the hip, the crease of the hip, so that you're actively not allowing an increase in the rounding of the lower back because of a pelvic shift. So you're going pointy bum to increase the angle here in order to lessen or decrease the angle that you subsequently have here, which is the area we're trying to protect and stabilize. So bringing the leg out to the side, just to wherever it goes, stabilizing here, and then pointy bum, like so, shifting the weight back only as far as you can, with absolute control here. No compromise. It should not feel bad in the back at all. You should be feeling it in the area that's being stretched. Once you feel that you can you're done there, or you feel you can go a bit further, come out first. Take a little breather. Slide the foot a bit further away. Re-engage all here if you've already sort of relaxed there. Re-engage and then shift the weight back. Pointy bum. Yep. So not this. Pointy bum. Again, coming out, sliding more if you feel you can, and then shifting back, pointy bum. And coming out. And then you would do the other side. You're going to do the other side from the front so you can see. So, engage, bringing the leg out to the side. That's too far. Here we go. And pointy bum. That's as far as it's going right now. Really engaging the lower torso. And then coming out. I'm going to shift my leg out to the side a bit. Re-engage. No compromises here. Pointy bum. That's as far as I can go. Pointy bum. Breathing, relaxing, and then coming forwards. Relax, take a breather, and then we're going to go one more time. Adjust the foot. Engage all the way around the back as well. Engage, and pointy bum, sitting the weight back, pointy bum. And coming out, sliding the foot in and relax. Okay, good. Single leg froggers. Froggers. For this next one, this is a pec minor stretch, so a stretch for these deep chest muscles that's going to allow for a positive domino effect through the upper back, neck and shoulders. In order to do this, you're going to need some sort of foam roll, or if you've got a yoga bolster, which is softer, use that. Okay, so we're going to just lie down on it. like so, so that my spine is completely relaxed upon it, like so. And then from here, all we're going to do is going to bring the arms in front of you, like so, stabilising through here, because it will be a little bit weebly wobbly, and that's okay. But we want to stabilise, so I've got my feet wide, my feet are planted on the floor, I've got my weight dropped, and nice and balanced. And now in a smooth and controlled fashion, we're going to bring both arms overhead, kind of face height, not shoulder height. So not directly above the shoulders, but actually kind of have your hands directly above your face. Why? Because we need our arms, our elbows specifically, a little higher than the shoulder. So in terms of this sort of gauge of height. Because otherwise it becomes too easy to cheat this, and then you won't get the benefits. So bracing through here, 25% tops, as always, just to keep you uncompromised and to give it some support in case you lose your balance. And then from here, we're just going to slowly open the arms out to the sides, keeping the hands face height so they don't drop down. They keep in this sort of line here, like so, coming out. And then that position of the arm should force the shoulders, the whole shoulder girdle, the shruggable bit, to drop back as well. If it's lower down, it's easy to round the shoulders. So now the shoulder girdle, the shruggable bit, has actually come forwards, which is the opposite of what we want. We want this higher. You'll notice how now it's very difficult to push the shoulder forwards. So that's why we want it that height, just to justify it, like so. And then you just relax. You have two options now. You can just stay here and let gravity do its thing over time, or you can actively mobilize it. So you bring it smooth and controlled back in. I would recommend this one because you're actively controlling it through range of motion. Smooth and controlled. And you're going to try and get it smoother and to sink deeper each time you go. Smooth, no jittery bits, and then coming back out again, still engaging the lower back, still engaging that lower torso, but now focusing on movement as well. If you're holding it, just hold it. If you're moving it, keep moving it, but get it smoother and with more control. If you can do it smoothly already, slow it down and keep the smoothness. Once you feel that your arms aren't dropping any further and that you've had enough of this stretch you get in your chest, the top of your chest, in the stretch's deepest moments, then you're done. And relax wherever you are. Just take a moment. Going to place my arms overhead just so that the shoulders sit back again. They were starting to sit forwards. When I put my arms down, the shoulders rode forwards. I don't know if you can see that. Whereas over here, it's better. So just relax, breathe, and relax. Okay. Can't get up.